Jerry Jones said this, that the team has consulted with the Texas Rangers about experience in dealing with throwing injuries. He said, we talked about throwing, arm care, and arm recovery. They advised rather than work through a progression on healing, but to go cold turkey to make sure the injury is repaired. And thus, the plot thickened. So Domonique Foxworth, 2 weeks ago, you told me, oh, this isn't a big deal. Check back with me in a week. Well, here we are 2 weeks later, and they're consulting a baseball team about throwing injuries. Neek, what?
It's concerning. I have to admit, I want to downplay it and say it's no big deal, but he spent the whole year going cold turkey, not throwing, presumably after he after he broke his leg. So that injury was scary. Dak's been remarkably healthy throughout the course of his career, with the exception of last season. So I tend to give him the benefit of the doubt when it comes to being healthy. But traditionally, football teams are not this conservative with their players, especially quarterbacks. They want quarterbacks out there. They want them throwing. They want them getting a sense of the offense, comfortable with their receivers. And then to go the extra step to calling in Rangers professionals, baseball teams, to have you talk through what's going on with Dak's shoulder and how to get him healthy. I don't want to be dramatic, but I'd be worried if I was a Cowboys fan why Dak isn't out there and why they need to go talk to the Texas Rangers about how to treat Dak's arm.
Yeah, so the second you brought in the Texas Rangers, I think it ceased being dramatic and started being at least somewhat realistic. Kimberly, what are you hearing?
So what we saw from McCarthy, that's the company line, basically. That's what the team is saying, that we're just being cautious. This is about Dak and, taking it easy on our end. But the tenor of what McCarthy said is very different from Jerry Jones. You feel different when you hear those statements. So I think McCarthy not being able to even confirm that Dak is throwing a football, the fact that we don't have a timeline, an exact timeline, that to me is concerning, because the timeline initially was, okay, in a few days he'll be back to throwing, and now it's a couple weeks.
Yeah, Mike Tannenbaum, you've been on the other side of this. You've been the one being asked about these sorts of things. What do you read into the answers that we're getting?
Yeah, I'm concerned. I agree with what Neek said. And we got to remember that Dak Prescott has a high pain threshold. So the fact that he even said something is a big concern. And again, we're talking about the right shoulder of a quarterback. And in a little over a month, Greeny, they're supposed to be playing Tampa Bay on national TV, first game of the season. And the fact that he's not throwing completely, it's a concern. And now the fact that they're bringing in other experts, this is not a little bump in the road. This is something we got to closely monitor.
Absolutely, and I think it's really important that we thank Mike T. Chrissy, we put that shot back up there. Mike T. is joining us from the Witness Protection Program this morning, which I think is really big of him. It's delightful. He's being relocated right now. We will never hear from him or his family again, based on reasons we'll never understand. But it was wonderful of you to do one last show under these circumstances. That said, brand new, hot off the presses this morning, we have our new NFL projections from our analytics people, our Football Power Index. And here's how they view the NFC East in numbers that continue to boggle my mind. The Cowboys, a prohibitive favorite to win the division. You see the WFT are there, less than a 1-in-3 chance. And then the Giants and Eagles bringing up the rear. So I'm going to throw this question around the horn again here, just so we get everybody on the record. We could put mine up there first already if you want to. Everyone knows I'm picking Washington, if you watch this show, to win that division. And I'm just astonished at the way the FPI sees it. Kimberly, how about you?
I'm shocked that the Cowboys are the favorite. I thought I was being counterculture here. I still am going to stick with the Cowboys strictly because of the quarterback situation.
The quarterback is right now consulting with a baseball team about his shoulder.
I understand. But if Dak is healthy, big if, guys, but if he's healthy, I trust him long-term over an entire season, 17 games, than Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Mike T?
I'm going with Dallas, but my answer is now officially etched in pencil. I got my eraser there, and I'm just telling you, if we're doing this on Wednesday or Thursday, Greedy, I may go with your Washington team, but I'm hoping Dak is back.
All right, Domonique joins us from Washington this morning. Neek, how about your pick?
Yeah, I'm going with Washington, and I felt that way even before we knew about Dak's shoulder. I think the team is a little bit more complete. I understand the FBI. Well, I don't understand the FBI methodology. I assume that they just believe that defenses are a little bit more fickle and not trustworthy, and they lean on the offense to make their predictions, because the Cowboys have a better offense. But Washington's defense last year, it was like head and shoulders above most of the league. There are only two defenses that I think were better than them, and it wasn't even close. So I expect them to come back and play well. And they added an above-average quarterback in Ryan Fitzpatrick, which is something they haven't had down there consistently in a while. So it's going to be hard or they haven't had here in a while. So it's hard for me to see Dallas beating Washington.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.